With Ppop reaching new heights, we take a look at the trends that define this music scene. Will they be able to maintain momentum? What could the future possibly hold for them? To talk about that, we have music publicist Ian Urrutia here with us in the studio. It's a beautiful day, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Hi.
Of course.
Good morning.
And
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
You got the citrus. He got some orange.
That's not orange.
Yeah, it's
And
like
just say it's
strawberry.
orange, Bob. I'm helping you
But
out.
so we're in sync. Yes.
Okay,
I was helping you out here, my God.
whichever works.
So Ian, let's talk about Ppop. First and foremost, big names already, or Ppop has been really big in the country. It's booming with Beanie, SB19, right? Beanie had a recent concert, sold out 3-day concert. And do you think Ppop in general is particularly in a good spot right now? But before you answer that, for the viewers who have no idea what Ppop is, what is Ppop? And what constitutes Ppop? How do we define this music genre?
Well, in the broadest sense of the word, Ppop means Pinoy pop. It actually was coined in the early 2010s by Boss Vic Del Rosario. They came up with a sub-label called Ppop. And if you're familiar with Nadine Lustre, she's part of a
Yes.
group called Pop Girls. They're one of the artists under the Ppop label. They kind of try to replicate like some of the qualities of K-pop and somehow bring in that or integrate that OPM sound to it. So that's how it actually started.
Yeah, we're taking a look at Ppop right now. Is it even the right term to use to look at the broad Filipino music that is, more pop-centered? Because it feels like there are some great Filipino acts there that don't necessarily fall under that particular subgenre of Filipino music.
Well, Ppop is mostly associated with like the idol groups. Like
Yeah.
you have the SB19, the
Yes.
Beanie, everything. Those that underwent rigorous training and are part of this entire training system. So usually they're either part of a group or they're a solo pop artist. So they're marketed in a way that is global but identifies more on the Filipino music side as well.
Is this like a direct reaction to the, K-pop wave?
Yeah, in the initial stages, yes. But right now, I think what's good about Ppop is it's honing its own identity.
Okay.
Like, there are Ppop artists that are integrating ethnic and tribal elements in their music. And even like artists like Alamat, they also integrate like regional languages in terms of lyrics. Like they have Hiligaynon, they have Bisaya. So the possibility is endless for Ppop right now.
What do you think, when we think of Ppop, right, it's always Beanie and SB19 that pop in our heads. What do you think contributed to their success in making Ppop what it is now?
Number one, they really took care of their fan base.
Yeah.
There's some sort of like a community that's been rallying behind them. So it's not just the labels, it's not just the management, but people are really supportive of them, making sure they're on top of the trending list on X, or making sure that they get the most number of votes, making sure that they sold out their concerts. So it's a community. There's a community behind it.
And do you think we can maintain this momentum with the community behind all the Ppops?
Yeah, for sure, because there's some sort of an ecosystem that somehow supports Ppop. It's not just the fans, it's not just the label, it's not just the management, but we've also some sort of infiltrated the mainstream. Ppop has infiltrated the mainstream. There are like hits that are not just confined in the target market, but also like you see hits by Beanie being part of like the barangay fiestas.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how you know that they've already made it. Somehow.
There's some reports, at least surveys, and those who look at data, especially how Spotify is being used, are saying that for non-English speaking countries, Philippine music, or at least locally speaking, is actually on the rise compared to the amount of international music Filipinos are consuming. Why do you feel that is so, especially when you take a look at according to the same studies and surveys, yung K-pop medyo bumabagal sa Korea mismo?
Yeah, Well, right now, K-pop is still K-pop. It's still massive. The reason why P-pop is suddenly booming, it's because it's being marketed not just on a domestically, and it's also marketed in such a way that there's so much potential. There's so much potential in it in terms of like commercial, in terms of artistic output.
You know, I think TikTok actually played a big role
Yeah.
in pushing Beanie and SB19
Yes,
songs.
yes.
I know like a lot of my American friends, they know certain Beanie songs, and I said, wow, that's so interesting. Do you think moving forward, when you write music for Ppop, would they consider like TikTok? Like, how does that change the way people write music and create music?
Very much, because TikTok is very hook laden. When you say hook laden, just by the first few verses, the reason why it becomes viral is because it's sort of created that earworm vibe. Yeah, so a lot of artists they kind of like write first with hooks, with making sure the chorus are indelible enough for it to be viral.
Yeah.
Right.
Tapos yung mga sayaw din.
Oh yes, may
Yeah.
mga dance
Yeah.
craze din, especially on the marketing side of things.
Right.
Like there's the dance craze, the trends,
Yes.
the memes.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
all contributes to the virality.
When you actually scroll, you see all these reels using the music of these P-pop bands, right? I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine who works for the PR of Sony Music, and we talked about how social media, TikTok in particular, has changed the listening style or the listening patterns of people, especially the younger generation. How they don't like listening to long songs anymore. Parang short version na lang of songs. What's your stance? I mean, what can you say about this? Do you think that social media, TikTok in particular, has changed the listening style of people, or even their taste in music? Has it significantly changed their preferences?
Somehow, because the attention span of people right now is very short, so they just get on with what makes it hook laden, what makes it easier to grasp, what makes it catchy. So right now, when it comes to TikTok, it really changed the game.
Yeah. It also, I think, puts a spotlight into songwriting in general. Kasi right now, ina-analyze yung mga lyrics. They go through all the lyrics, they go through all of the they go through all of the meanings and what they could all mean. I remember, especially for maraming nagpo-foreign react, diba? Mga foreigners nagre-react sa music natin, and they ask for translations, and then sobrang apektado daw sila. You take a look at that aspect as well. Does that pose even a bigger challenge, not just be viral, but also to have a certain value sa meaning ng natin mga songs na lumalabas sa TikTok?
With TikTok, masyadong
Or at least social, rather.
yeah, at least it was able to help us out in terms of explaining things. Mas madali yung information kasi i-explain sa atin ng mas clear and mas madaling maintindihan. So definitely yes.
And where do you think Ppop, where do you see it in the long run? How are we doing, especially this 2025?
Right now, what's good about Ppop is they kind of understand how the domestic market works. Kasi before, ang aim nila is to go global.
Right.
But of course, you need to understand first the local context. You need to understand the audience, the Filipino sensibilities. Kasi iba yan eh. Before you go global, you need to have the support system that that you need.
Right, like you said, the fan base.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for Ppop for 2025. Are there any specific underrated Ppop artists
Acts
that
that-
you, or acts that you recommend to listen to?
Specifically, I like Alamat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Alamat's definitely one of them. And of course, you look at I feel like the standard of Ppop has been rising more and more with the quality of the music videos, with the quality of even the choreography, even with how people how they've learned to interact with fans. Kasi one of the, well, not even criticism, but then one of the analysis of, for example, K-pop artists, there is a certain distance that they have to keep with interacting with the fans. Yung mga Pinoy naman, sobrang, we tend to embrace them. But then right now, there's even a bit of, I guess, how do I say this? There's a bit of general behavior that P-pop artists now have to have also to maintain that safe and correct distance while still being close to the fans. Is that something that you see is developing more and more as time goes by?
Yes, and actually, P-pop is trying to move away from like its Oriental counterparts before.
Yeah.
Because when you say P-pop, it's always associated with J-pop or K-pop. But right now, we're kind of coming out with our own identity, and with P-pop fans, I mean, it's personality based, but the talent is really there.
Yeah.
And they really make it a point to make sure na they hone their own community and makitungo sila sa fans. So,
So how would you describe it? Compare it to the region, what makes a P-pop unique to K-pop, J-pop, and all of the other pops all over the place? Because, I've been to Indonesia. Indonesia pop is actually really great in terms of their domestic scene. And, the other regions are growing as well. So what makes P-pop stand out compared to the different tastes of the region?
It still sounds very much contemporary and modern, but it has that very Pinoy sensibility to it. Like when you listen to, let's say, Beanie or SB19, you wouldn't really, you would really feel that it's very close to home. And we could relate to the sensibilities.
Is this the golden age? Do you feel so? I think Anne will have a different answer to this kung golden age siya ng Philippine music in
actually,
general because of how wide it now is.
I think Eli Buendia was asked that question. Is this the golden age of Philippine music? And he said like every age naman is considered a golden age. But
Showbiz yun.
It's a
Showbiz
yeah,
answer.
just showbiz answer. But if they were to ask you the same question, do you think this is the golden age of Philippine music?
Yes, definitely. In terms of commercial performance, kasi like Beanie is one of the most streamed pop groups in the Philippines,
Yeah.
not just locally, but you compare the numbers, they're even bigger when you compare them to, let's say, Lainey or Cup of Joe. So, and SB19, they've done sold-out shows. The world tour, Pagtatag, was a huge hit.
Yeah.
So, I would say that P-pop is definitely getting there in terms of commercial performance and success.
Well, let's see what else could happen when it comes to P-pop. We're excited. Alamat's definitely going to be an act that I'm going to search up right
Same,
now
I can't
after
wait to listen
this.
to that.
Yeah, Mo in general
I
has to
have
search all of the Philippine
I
music.
have one last
Yeah.
question before we let you go,
Sure.
Ian, because I'm kind of curious about it because, musicians already prefer to put their music out through social media. Some don't even want to join record labels anymore kasi they feel like, pwede ko naman ilabas sa Spotify by myself and promote it by myself, right? And you are a music publicist and you write about artists and music, right? What if, musicians veer away from the saturation of, TikTok, social media, and try to create music organically again and rely on traditional media? How do they package? How do they promote their music the traditional way again?
Siguro, it's better if you kind of treat every release like some sort of a campaign. So, you come up with a social media calendar. So, meron ka mga teasers, mga plotted like pitches to media, and then make sure everything is like there's pre-release promotions, and then once the release drops, you make sure that you post about it. May mga gimmicks ka to promote your work. And right now, it's easy because technology is at your disposal. You can just post anything. You just have to make sure na it's planned earlier.
Right.
So, madali
So
na
parang
lang din
working
siya.
hand in hand.
Yes.
with Traditional
You
media.
you just gave the blueprint of Anne's future release kasi gusto niya
That's her
mag-self-publish.
dream, to be a P-pop artist.
Yeah.
Actually, Ian, before you got to the makeup room kanina, she's been singing. She was already warming up. She was gonna audition.
Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness.
And of course, thank you
But
so
thank you,
much,
Ian. Thank you
so
for your
much for
time.
joining us this morning.